Now, when you're meeting a letting agent for the first time, you want to make sure this is the right letting agent of your choice and they are competent at what they are going to be doing for you, because there's a lot of money at stake. You've got a £300,000-400,000 property that you're handing over to another person to handle on your behalf. It's a lot of money at stake and you want to be making the right decisions. Now, here are a couple of questions that I really recommend asking your letting agent. The first one is, what is the desired rental price for a property? Now, when they give you this desired rental price for the property, they need to be able to explain to you how they come up with this. So sometimes what letting agents might do is they'll give you a really inflated figure to win your instruction, but make sure you get justification from them as well. Number two is, do they have any specific requirements or preferences for potential tenants? So the potential tenants, they might want a property that has been fully refurbished or newly painted. So find out tenants that are on the book, what type of properties they are looking for. Number three is, how will you be advertising the property to attract the tenants? So some agents only advertise on Rightmove, Zoopla, but they don't advertise on social media. So you want to be able to have agents that are also advertising on social media as well. Number four is screening process that they will be using to vet potential tenants. Now, are they looking at tenants just at the face of it, or they're asking for bank statements and pay slips, or are they even using any sort of artificial intelligence to be able to reference these tenants? Now, number five is, so how are they referencing these tenants? Now, some of them might be using artificial intelligence. Ask your letting agent, what screening process will they be using to reference these potential tenants? So some of them, they might just look at their pay slips, they might just look at them like a printed out bank statement as well. Or some of them might go a bit further and use open banking to be able to see and verify the tenant's bank statements as well, to see that this payment is genuinely coming into their account or not, and to see if even the pay slips are being doctored or not. Number five, which is really important, is, are they going to be collecting a security deposit? If so, then how much? Now, I always recommend 1 month's deposit. You can even take up to 5 weeks as well, but for simplicity, we tend to take 1 month because most people are used to that, and it makes the whole process a lot more easier as well. And number six is, what is the duration of the lease agreement that they will be offering to the tenants? So some of them will offer a 6 months agreement, some of them will offer a 12 months agreement, but make sure you check with your agent which one they are offering and what's the pros and cons of each one and which one they recommend for you to take as well. Number seven is, what are the terms and conditions of the lease agreement? So some of them, for example, might specify on there that decoration is allowed at the property. Some of them say it's not allowed, and some of them will say that it's allowed as long as you get a written confirmation from the landlord. So make sure you also even get a copy of the tenancy agreement as well. That works out to be really beneficial. Number eight is, how are they going to handle maintenance and repairs at the property during the tenancy? So some of them, if really bad as it is, they might get a phone call, etc., and they'll end up forgetting about it. A really ideal process and an ideal way of handling these repairs is for the tenant to email the letting agent, have it in writing, this is when it was reported, and then for the agent to get written confirmation as to how it will be dealt with, when it will be dealt by as well. And a maintenance schedule is really beneficial because it'll give the tenants an expectation of by when certain issues will be rectified, and it gives the landlord an expectation of when to get them done by as well in order to meet the requirements, so the tenants are not left at discomfort for a long period of time. Number nine is, are there going to be any rules and regulations that the tenants need to follow while renting at the property? So these could be as simple as giving 1 month's notice, 2 months notice. It could be to do with having pets or what they can't do. So keep that into consideration as well. Number 10 is, how are they going to be collecting the rent from the tenant, and what's the method they're going to be using to pay you? Now, they might be collecting it in cash, and they might want to pay you in cash as well, which is not going to be convenient for you, especially if you're living 50, 60, 100 miles away from the property. That's not suitable for you. So get that clarified beforehand as well. Number 11 is, are they going to be conducting regular inspections at the property? Now, this, of every question that I've mentioned, is the most important one. And the reason being is because it's well and good getting £1,000 a month for your property, but if it's costing you £200-300 on a monthly basis because the tenants are not looking after it or they start to trash it, you're going to have to spend a lot of money, a couple of £1,000 repairing it. So anything you gained, you're going to be losing it. So it's really important to do inspections. Make sure your agent is doing them at least every 6 to 12 months. Number 12 is, what is the process that they use to handle the tenant complaints? So when a tenant complains about something they're not satisfied with, how is it getting dealt with? Is it just being left at any staff member, or is it being dealt with by someone senior? And what is the complaints process that they have in order to tackle this? Because if you keep your tenant happy, you won't have any problems at the property. Your rent will be on time, and there won't be any need to do much repairs because they'll be looking after the property for you. And number 13 is, what is the procedure for ending a lease agreement? Now, for example, sometimes things happen in life, right? So a tenant might be living at the property. They might have an agreement for 12 months, but they're only able to stay for 9 months because they've had a change of job, or there might be some sort of divorce or might have possibly taken place. How is your letting agent going to deal with that? Are they going to let the tenants go out early? Are they going to charge them something for leaving early? Find out how your agent is going to deal with it. Ideally, a blend of both, where they possibly let them go early, or they might hold them liable, or they might charge them something for the remaining period of time, some sort of fee, in order to cover the cost of the landlord for re-renting it out as well. Now, number 14, which is the final one, is they might have done everything well, but if they're not handling disputes or disagreements with the tenants properly, then it will end up losing you money again. So ask your letting agent, how will you be handling disputes or disagreements with tenants? So there's two ways of doing this. The first way is doing it all in-house, and the second way is to deal with an alternative dispute resolution service. Regardless of which one they do, make sure they're competent at it as well, and just listen to the way they decide to handle it. Now, if you ask these questions, I can guarantee you will have a really good time finding a good letting agent that is competent, that's going to get you good returns on your investment, and you'll be making the right decision as well. Any other questions, drop me a comment down below and I'll be happy to make a video to answer your questions specifically. Thank you for watching, and subscribe.